Shalom, party people. Welcome to the 12th seat. Dano, not in the lion's den, asks, would you explain the navigation of going through the highs and the lows of life? How it can and does affect the valleys and the mountains of the highs and lows of your spiritual walk. So, Dano, I don't know if this is the answer that you're looking for or not, but I'm going to explain this the only way that makes sense to me. Caveat, I am a long distance runner. I'm not fast by any means, but my gosh, am I stubborn. And that sure does affect a lot of things. But there are days where I will go for runs and, 2 miles turns into 20. And sometimes it's because I've got things that I just got to work through. And my wife can attest to this. There's days I'll come home and I'm like, babe, I love you, but for the sake of you still having me around as a decent person, I have got to go for a run and work this out. And it's the only way that I know how to sort things out. Right foot, left foot, right foot, left foot. Dr. Trevor Wilkins will tell us that a lot of that is what that EMDR has to play with things. And it's activating both sides of your brain, so it matters. A lot of it is I'm going out for a run and I'm processing. So several miles in, man, this sucks. I don't want to do this. Man, I got things that I need to keep doing this. I got things that I need to work out. And then there are times, sometimes in the same run, where I'm like, I'm on top of the world. I could go another 100 miles. Who's going to carry the logs? All that kind of stuff. There are days where it's easy. And man, you're just coasting. And then you drop it into fifth gear. And you're a racehorse at that point. You just keep going and going and going, and can't nothing stop you. And then there's days where 10 yards feels like 100 miles. And it's all uphill is what it seems like. Yeah, uphill's going to lead to a nice view, but that's a lot of work. That's a lot of effort. I don't know if I have enough spoons to do that. In the highs and the lows of life, there are days where we're just on fire. Can't nobody stop us. A bad day isn't going to stop us. You couldn't smack the grin off of our face. And then there are days where, man, ain't nothing going right. And it's hard. It's really hard. And that's part of life. It really is. The highs and lows, they come and they go. On the spiritual side of things, and there's times where I do not want to crack open my Bible. There's times when praying is the last thing on my mind. And those are the times when we need it the most. A lot of times, doing what we don't want to do is the best thing for us, even when we don't have it in us. The highs and lows of life look different for a lot of people. Sometimes what you struggle with is somebody's everyday. And sometimes what your everyday is the worst thing in the world to somebody. And that doesn't take away from the value, that doesn't take away from the struggle. Every bit of it is hard. And in all honesty, the things worth doing are hard. That's a lot of the reason why I sign off just about every video telling you to go do hard things. Because the more we do the hard things, the more we go through the highs and the lows of life, the better equipped we are. The Father gives us things that, sometimes we perceive them as burdens. And what they really are is they're blessings that we just haven't learned how to steward yet. Sometimes he gives us things that force us to rely on him because we've been going and our own pride is keeping us from seeing what's really going on. You get a lot of people, oh, he's never going to give me anything that I can't handle. Okay, yeah, that's a lie. He's going to give you plenty of things that you can't handle. He's never going to give you anything that he can't handle. And so that's where we hang on to him with everything that we've got. And we say, I don't know what this entails, but I'm along for the ride. Use me however you see fit. And anything that is easy probably isn't that good. So yeah, the highs and the lows, cool. There are amazing views at the mountaintops. It's a lot of work to get up there. It's worth it. But nothing really grows on the mountaintops. I mean, little bits of grass, maybe, but if it's a tall enough mountain, not even then. It's the valleys, it's the lows, where you usually have the most fertile soil. A lot of times we've got to hit rock bottom before we have anything that is capable of sustaining the growth. The highs and the lows are hard. Little bit of advice. Have people in your life that you can talk to regularly. Have people in your life who can hold you accountable. The Big C Christian church that I attend, when we were going through a really hard time, I saw the men in that church step up, and that was amazing. As time goes by, and the humdrum of life just continues, still check in with some people, but it's a lot more effort. I have a lot of friends who very recently have checked in. Hey, how's everything going? The community that is there is very, very good at helping to bear one another's burdens. The whole idea of who's going to carry the logs, well, nobody carries the log alone. Your real PT heavy logs is too much for any one person to carry. Having somebody with us who is on the same walk that we're on, you help carry each other's burden. And two people don't just have the strength of two people. When they're working together, it's exponential growth. 3 people, even more. And you'll have 3 people, 4 people, 5 people, 10 people doing the work that it would take one person 100 times as long to even begin to think about accomplishing. Talk to somebody. Pray. A lot. And I will submit to you, pray dangerous prayers. Tell them what's on your mind, even if it doesn't sound good. I mean, read the Psalms. David gets pretty dark about some things. It's there. Tell them what's on your mind. Ask, hey, this is what I think I want, but don't let that get in the way of what your will is. I don't want to settle for anything less than for the Father. And stuff's cool, but it's not nothing compared to Him. Read Scripture. So often, myself included, what's your will for my life? Just tell me. I've heard a quote, and I'm pretty sure it's from A.W. Tozer. If the Almighty gave you a watch, are you being more faithful asking Him what time it is, or consulting the watch that He gave you? given us his word in written form. Numerous translations. Many of those numerous translations are phenomenal. You know, I've been in the scriptures a lot lately. It's becoming my number 2, but ESV, New King James, NASB, heck, the 1985, 84 of NIV is actually pretty good. The newer ones, not impressed. But, I mean, even the New Living Translation, which is a paraphrase, they shouldn't call it a translation. Even the New Living Translation is pretty good on mass reads. Individual verse by verse, a little lacking. But we have so many copies of the Bible everywhere. We really don't have an excuse to be as biblically illiterate as we are. We need to be reading our Bible way more. Consulting the word that he has given us will sustain us. Read it, do what it says. In summary, the highs and the lows of life. The highs are awesome, the lows suck. There are days where the lows aren't going to bother you one bit because you're just on top of the world, and you may be going through the lows, but no big deal. Because there are those days where I'm going for a run and it's amazing. And then there are those days where just the minimal effort seems like too much. And that's part of it. It's a fact of life. What will get us through these things? Number 1, community. Number 2, rock solid foundational prayer. And number 3, spending time in his word. And do not use community as substitutes for prayer and reading his word. It's a fact of life. We need people, but we need him 1,000,000